Picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies. Somebody calls you, you answer quite slowly. A girl with kaleidoscope eyes. Cellophane flowers of yellow and green towering over your head. Look for the girl with the sun in her eyes and she's gone. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
We are celebrating not only Sergeant Pepper, but the spirit of its time. All over the world, young people were experimenting with alternatives to what they saw as the repression of convention and materialism. One of the charming ideas of the day was the white bicycle of Amsterdam, free, communally owned, to be left at journey's end for someone else to use. The plan was the brainchild of a young anarchist group called Provo, who were resolutely without leaders. One of the people not leading Provo is nowadays habitually to be found on his raft, the Yuppie. We asked Robert Jasper Grootveld what was happening in Amsterdam.
The very word happening was the main thing about it. Happening, what's happening? In the 50s we felt ourselves bored. We felt ourselves very, very much bored because there was nothing happening. There was the big feeling about nothing was happening. So let's make a happening. Geef dit keer geen sigaretten!
The Lord Mayor of Amsterdam banned happenings, and police loudspeaker cars toured the city.
They shouted through the neighborhoods of the inner city. Happening is forbidden. There's no happening. Happening. Forbidden. And people in the pub standing. Oh yeah, it is Saturday night. The happening, yes, let's go. So thousands of people went to the happening because of the police. That was how it works, you know.
Hello, I order you to disperse. Disperse. You have 5 minutes to disperse. Carry out your business.
From the Netherlands to California, the police, unwittingly, became crucial in converting small random gatherings into large, unavoidable happenings.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound?
I came down and found it more like a block party than anything political. Everybody was having a good time talking, and it was like a party. Then police came in platoons and charged into that crowd and beat up everybody indiscriminately. And the Strip having been my hangout for years made me angry, and I tried to figure out what it was they were up to, and it didn't make any sense. I felt that they must have misread what those kids were all about.
I thought it was a moment that deserved to be looked at a little more closely, and of course I got caught right up into it. I was the first person they arrested. 1A was my number. They had a little card they held up in front of me as they photographed me. I was manacled behind my back.
They arrested some 300 people or more, and it never made the papers, and it seemed very sinister. Biggest arrest since the Japanese roundup after Pearl Harbor.
What a field day for the heat.
And as a result, Stephen Stills wrote the song For What It's Worth, which was a big hit after that. And And the people downtown thought it was all dying down just as that record was going up the charts, and everybody was laughing. And the police were saying, well, it's just about over. I don't think we're going to have any more trouble.
Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop now. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going.
Meanwhile, some of Britain's young people too were starting to freak out, as they said in those days. This smiling man in a silk jacket on a drizzly January morning had a message for the people on the bus. This happening was loosely organized out of the offices of the International Times, Britain's underground newspaper, which mixed stories about magic mushrooms, Mao Zedong, the WHO, and racism in Cuba with bizarre layouts and a certain bluntness in the editorial line.
We were aware that there was an international movement going on. We were aware through direct communication. People came to San Francisco from Amsterdam, from London, from New York, from Paris, to share currents of ideas.
David Simpson was one of a group in San Francisco who styled themselves Diggers after the zealots of the English Civil War. Another was actor-playwright Peter Coyote.
Well, the Diggers didn't stand for anything, but they were about personal authenticity and taking responsibility for your own visions.
They were the finest people on earth, the Diggers, and a more fantastic bunch of people to have trouble with and a row with without coming to blows you couldn't wish to meet. In my opinion, they were the core of the whole counterculture because they were our conscience. You could not do right for doing wrong with them. They were like those mothers who were into all your business. They don't do this, don't that. Of course, you're doing that. I've seen that. I know what you're doing. I'm sorry. Well, don't do it again.
Like Provo, the Diggers were resolutely without leaders. One of their non-leaders was writer Peter Berg.
The Diggers had several goals. One was the immediate one, to simply act out free. Put free in front of any word you could think of. Free phone box, free lunch, free district attorney, free judge, free policeman, free boy, free girl, whatever, especially free love. Love being the word that had been foisted on Haight-Ashbury. And the long-term goal was to create a bomb, a situation in which the people that were refugees from American culture at the time and Western civilization would be able to re-see exchanges between each other.
The Beatles served that function in many respects because the great international attention that they achieved obviously indicated, given the lyrics of their music and the sensibilities that it expressed, that something was going on.
It's getting better all the time. I used to get mad at my school. The teachers that taught me weren't cool. They're holding me down, turning me around, filling me up with your rules. I've got to admit, it's getting better, a little better all the time. I have to admit, it's getting better, it's getting better since you've been mine.
1967 was a remarkable year because the solitary individual consciousness that had been developed by many individual people over the previous decade, from the mid-50s, seemed finally to come together in a kind of be-in together, as we had in San Francisco. There was a human be-in, in which there was no hyper-rational purpose. It was a community project just to be there together, to share each other's company. Everybody spending the time together, as the Beatles were spending time together as a community group, the four of them, and giving an example to youth around the world that guys can be friends.
It was a beautiful event, The Human Being. People emerged, there was like 10,000 people there that came from God knows where. It was like this calling, like a conch shell blowing, hey, from an ancient time. Come out, come back, reappear, all you gods and goddesses, you divine people, home, come. And people came.
Turn on, tune in, and drop out.
Dr. Timothy Leary, a psychologist who had been fired from Harvard University, was undoubtedly the most internationally conspicuous prophet of the psychedelic revolution.
I mean, drop out of high school, drop out of college, drop out of graduate school, drop out of junior executive, drop out of senior executive, turn on, tune in, drop out.